In business, there is one very expensive lie: buying yourself a piece of freedom. It starts like a dream: a suit, a crown, a golden chair, and the feeling that you finally escaped the ordinary life. Then the contract falls, not like paper, but like a machine. In 1 second, the dream turns black and white. The crown breaks, the suit disappears, and the owner is back on the floor, cleaning the business he thought would set him free. Most franchise owners do not enter the system thinking they are buying a cage. They believe they are buying control, a proven brand, a safer path, a business that already knows how to win. But very quickly, they discover something stranger. They bought the wheel, they bought the risk, and then they ran inside it. The money keeps moving, the work keeps moving, but the direction is already decided by someone above them. From the first day, the numbers are not as simple as sales minus costs. Before the owner sees profit, the system has already taken its share: royalty fees, marketing fees, technology fees, supplier markups, compliance costs. Each one looks small alone. Together, they turn revenue into a trap. The store can be busy, the sales can be high, and the owner can still be drowning. This is the franchise trap, a business model that sells ordinary people a dream of independence, then surrounds that dream with rules, fees, approvals, and penalties. Why does something that looks like a ready-made business become a machine that quietly eats families, savings, and years of work? Today, we are going to walk through the maze. Before the crown, before the contract, before the fees, he was just tired of working for someone else, tired of being told when to start, when to stop, and when his time was no longer needed, tired of being told how much his hours were allowed to be worth. He did not want to be rich overnight. He just wanted one small thing: a business that belonged to him. Then one night, the algorithm found him. It showed him smiling owners, perfect stores, perfect systems, and perfect numbers. The ad did not say, "Buy a job." It said, "Buy your freedom." The ad followed him for days. Every time he opened his phone, the same promise came back: be your own boss, own your future, buy your freedom. Then one night, tired enough to believe it, he clicked the button and booked a seat at a free franchise discovery session. The next day, he attended the discovery session. A recruiter stood on stage and said, "You do not have to build this alone. We give you the brand, the menu, the system, the suppliers, the training, and the support." Then he smiled and said, "All you need is commitment. But shortcuts have toll gates." First came the franchise fee, then the training fee, then the design fee, then the setup fee. Every step forward came with another payment. The dream was still glowing. It was just getting heavier. Then came the contract. It was thick, clean, professional, almost comforting. He asked, "So, after I sign this, I own the business?" The officer smiled and said, "You own the opportunity." Then he added, "The system remains ours." He finally got the keys. For a moment, it felt real. He thought he could keep it simple. Simple chairs, simple lights, a practical plan. But the system had already designed his freedom. Their colors, their chairs, their lights, their approved version of reality. Opening day was beautiful. People came. Photos were taken. The register sang. For one day, it felt like the dream was real. The store was alive, the customers were smiling, and for a few hours, he believed every dollar had been worth it. Then the business began to speak in invoices: a percentage for the brand, a percentage for marketing, a fee for the software, a fee to access the system, and a fee to keep using the name he already paid to use. For the first time, he understood. Sales were not the same as money, and revenue is not the same as freedom. Then came the suppliers. In a normal business, a box of basic ingredients might cost $10. In the approved system, the same box could arrive with a much larger invoice. He tried to ask why he could not buy cheaper supplies himself. The answer was simple: approved supplier only. buy outside the system, and the savings could become a breach. He was called an owner, but the menu was not his. The suppliers were not his. The promotions were not his. He owned the risk. Someone else owned the rules. Then came the inspections. Not just health, not just service. The system measured everything. How fast he greeted, where he stood, what he said, how brightly he smiled. Even exhaustion needed to follow brand standards. Every mistake became paper. Every paper became a warning. Every warning became a fee. And every fee became another hour he had to work. The system did not yell. It printed. It stamped. It gave deadlines. At first, his family visited the store. Then they helped after closing. Then they helped on weekends. Then they helped because there was no other way. The business was called independent, but everyone around him was slowly drafted into the system. One morning, headquarters launched a national promotion. The posters arrived before the explanation. Customers loved it. The system called it traffic. He called it bleeding politely. Months passed. Sales were up, revenue was up, and the store looked successful. The dashboard said the brand was strong, but somehow the money kept disappearing before it reached him. That was when he asked the forbidden question: if the store is doing well, why am I falling behind? So, he asked headquarters for help. The answer came back clean, polite, and perfectly useless. They did not say the model was broken. They said his execution needed improvement. The system stayed perfect. The owner became the problem. Then he thought about leaving. But in the franchise world, entering the system costs money, and leaving it costs money too. The contract opened again. Out came transfer rules, exit fees, debranding costs, final inspections, legal reviews, and non-compete restrictions. In this world, the door was not locked with a key. It was locked with clauses. So he tried to sell the store, but even the buyer had to be approved by headquarters. The sale price looked real until the system took its share on the way out. He had paid to enter the dream. Now he had to pay to leave it. And when he finally left, the store did not mourn him. To the system, he was not a story. He was a file. Then the same ad found someone else. The system did not need every owner to win. It only needed the dream to keep finding new believers. And that is the part most people miss. The franchise trap does not survive because people are stupid. It survives because the dream is powerful. A name people recognize. A system that looks safe. A shortcut for people who are tired of starting from nothing. So if franchise traps are everywhere, why do people still keep buying in? That is the next subquest.